Hey guys, this is my new podcast series, Let's Talk. And I want to talk about Street Fighter V with the topic, Ken is dead. Here is Genius and let's get started. One thing in advance, the meaning of tier is handicap. That's why top tier characters compensate player skill, experience and knowledge. Ken already was not viable in Season C.5 while almost no one played him on CPT Cup 2018. Only some extreme tryharders like Chris T, which is an amazing player, and his results are still below what he actually deserves because he overcompensates Ken's weakness with higher skill than most of his opponents. Everyone else sucked with Ken, and why? Cause Ken is weak. Full Asia dropped Ken, also Momochi. That Momochi dropped Ken is a big argument. Even Daigo say in an interview with Chris T that Ken is weak. And he said if the opponent plays safe and Ken plays safe, Ken always lose. That's the reason why everyone waited for Ken buffs in Season 4. Almost everyone was sure that Ken will get buffs. But Capcom nerfs the last strength points from Ken to neutralize him to death. I think there is nothing left for Ken. Wake horizontal approach to stubby normals with bad frame data. Every character in Street Fighter V outclassed Ken in normals. He had already extreme problems in neutral game, and now Capcom even nerfs his already risky standing hard kick and makes it punishable in the startup frames. That's insane. This means that Ken have a weak fundamental structure. I was really surprised after I saw the Ken's patch notes for Season 4. Yes, he got some buffs, but these buffs do not say anything, because they are not in the places that Ken needs. So they are relatively useless. As you know, the chain breaks on the weakest link, especially if you do not have very strong points to maneuver your weakness. Ken also has no particular strengths left, because he is increasingly neutralized. If you look closely on Ken's architecture, you will recognize that he don't have any strengths more, and almost everything is gimmicky and risky. Standing hard kick, DPs punish now more on block, AX Tatsu, CC punish if you whiff, fireball, too slow and too high recovery frames, easy to jump over, V skill run, now after reducing input lag, easier for opponent to react to the run. It's more a gimmick. AXR Tatsu, slow and risky on block and easy punished even from light normals, because the AXR Tatsu have literally no hitbox, and absolutely no ground or air approach. Everything is vacant and risky. Also the V-Trigger 2 buffs are fake buffs, useless stuff. You can even get more damage without the Tatsu juggle, which is new in Season 4. Also, it's extreme unstable and risky. You never really know if it links or not. Even his EX Tatsu after V-Trigger 2 is risky, and sometimes it hits, sometimes not. You have to exactly know what you have done before the V-Trigger 2 activation. If you do a medium punch DP in the combo before you activate V-Trigger 2, you can juggle into medium Tatsu, but if you hit the DP 2 times, you M Tatsu whiff. This is only one example of many other. In my opinion, Capcom not only bring Ken down to mid-tier, also cause of his instability, he is worse than mid-tier. So we break it down first to simplify it. There are in fighting games two approaches, the ground and the air. For example, have Akuma insane good air approach, cause you have many amount of different air attacks where you can't easily anti-air. He put you in a guessing situation. The ground approach from Colin, Chang-Li, Karin are for example extreme strong, cause they have good range on his normals with strong frame data, also safe and fast dash attacks. Characters like Ibuki are totally overpowered because they have extreme strong ground and air approach, good range on normals, extreme fast projectiles, different air effect, 50-50 setups, projectile invincible moves, dash, and so on. Gimmicky is insane. In my opinion, the cheapest character in Street Fighter V. Let's look what are the ground and air approaches from Ken. Let's start with the air approach. Is there any special attack besides the standard jump in, which every character have? Ken have the air Tatsu and the AX air Tatsu. The air Tatsu is okay, nothing special. You can use it to delay opponent's normal anti-air, maybe. The hitbox is pretty trash, and there is not a big difference between the light, medium and hard air Tatsu. So the AX air Tatsu is pretty trash. You waste 1 bar and you are still minus on block, and now you can even be -4 on block. That's insane. And you use a bar. This point is interesting. Many chars, if they use bar, they stay plus on block, but not Ken. Also, his AX air Tatsu has pretty non-existent hitbox. The opponent can easily react extreme late with a normal anti-air. Also, his AX Tatsu is really slow because of the missing hitbox. And compare it with Ibuki, Kemi and so on, which have much faster, greater hitbox and more effective. This means that Ken have no strong air approach. He has only a standard jump in like every other character. Now we look at the ground approach. The most important aspect here are the normals, the fundamental structure of the character. And Ken's fundamental structure are the worst from all characters in Street Fighter V. His normals are extreme stubby and the frame data is bad. You have no 3 frame, you have no button which gives you +3 on block, that you can do frame traps and so on. Also, you have extreme pushback. Look at Kemi, for example. Literally no pushback. So, every other character outclassed Ken's in the normals. Every. Let's look at the second ground approach. This is his V-skill run. After reducing input lag, it's much easier for the opponent to react to it. So it's risky and slower than before. Means this is also bad. And more a gimmick. You can't use really a V-skill run against a good opponent. His only normal which have a bit good range is a standing hard kick. But the startup is insane slow on 14 frames. Now Capcom even nerfed this button, which makes opponent easier to punish because there is a hurt box before he hits after 14 frames, which is extreme slow. If you look the other hard kick buttons from other characters, they are much faster. This means the last poke button from Ken disappeared. Now let's talk about his overhead. With have no range, you have to be extreme close to opponent, which means that the startup frames are so high, the opponent can easily react with medium or light button. An overhead, for example, Ibuki, Balrog, Chun-Li, Laura and so on have much more range, which is really important for an overhead. And Ken's overhead is pretty trash for this reason, because it has no range. His thunder kick also is an overhead, but this thunder kicks also get nerfed from Capcom, which is now -6 on block, which means you can get a hard punish. Also, it's hard to hit with the thunder kick, much harder than the other overheads from other characters. So, but you have range with the thunder kick, but it's extreme slow and on startup frames also easy punished. Also, his fake kick is so slow you can't really use it. Most Ken players use it on the corner to fake an opponent, but if you see the fake move, you can push just an AXDP and that's it. Easy counter. And now we go on Ken's fireballs. Also trash. The recovery frames are so extreme high that you can easily jump over it. For example, take Sagat. You have to react extreme fast to get and jump over. This means that the fireball is also not a strong ground approach. All the other stuff, his Tatsus, his DPs are risky. You can't rely on this. His V-Trigger 2 is more a gimmick. You can't use it as an anti-air, too slow, only against fireballs. But you have to wait until you have 2 bars full. All the combos with V-Trigger 2 are also pretty useless cause you waste full bar for just a little bit more damage. If you look close and do a little bit research, you will see that normal combos have good damage. It's not worth to use the V-Trigger 2, especially the juggle trash, what they talk about, the medium Tatsu and the light Tatsu. It is not worse. Just hit DP 2 times, activate V-Trigger 2 and use AX DP and you have more damage. It's a fake buff. I think V-Trigger 2 is good to use it 3 times until level 1, so you can get through level 1 activation 130 damage. This means you have 420 damage if you activate 3 times. So you can limit opponents' projectile options. For example, Guile, Akuma and so on. There is literally nothing can have to build pressure. No fast dash attacks, no armor, no parry, no projectile invincible moves and so on. There is literally nothing. Only a standard jump in and a standard ground approach through footsie game, which is also extreme hard because Ken's normals are really trash. If the opponent plays safe and good neutral through tech and poke, there is nothing you can really do with Ken. That's why Ken is overall weak, cause his ground and air approach have no strength. In my opinion, Ken is dead. You will not see any successful Ken in Season 4. And Capcom's balance work for Ken is absolute trash. This was genius. See you next time.